Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So in this video, we're going to continue for subtopic 8.2 methods in gene cloning. So still in chapter 8, recombinant DNA technology. So in our previous video, we have discussed about the tools used in recombinant DNA. So hopefully you can list all the 5 tools used, okay, which is the target DNA, which carry gene of interest, and then the DNA cloning vector, which the example is plasmid. Okay, the function is to carry gene of interest into the host cell. And then we have the restriction enzyme. Okay, the enzyme used to cut DNA, which is DNA of target DNA, and also DNA cloning vector at the specific restriction site. Okay, example for restriction enzyme is E-CoR1, which will cut the DNA to produce sticky end, so the shape is the staggered cut, and the small one, okay, which we cut the DNA in a straight cut, so that we call as blunt end. Okay, number 4 is the host cell. So host cell is the organism that going to receive recombinant DNA or recombinant plasmid. And then number 5 is modifying enzyme that modify the DNA. Example is DNA ligase, which the function is to join the gene of interest with the cloning vector by catalyzed formation of phosphodiester bond. Okay, so when you are able to list all the 5 tools, okay, and the best is actually you remember with the correct sequence. Okay, the target DNA, the cloning vector, restriction enzyme, modifying enzyme, and the host cell. Because in next methods in gene cloning, okay, the steps is according to the tool used. Okay, so let's start. So methods in gene cloning, before that you need to know the definition of gene cloning. Gene cloning is a process to produce multiple copy of certain gene or DNA fragment. So means a process to produce multiple copies. Maksudnya kita akan hasilkan banyak salinan, okay, setengah gene ataupun DNA, bergantung pada apa yang kita nak. So the step in gene cloning, okay, we have 5 steps here. First is isolation. Isolation of gene. Isolate maksudnya kita akan keluarkan, kita akan pisahkan. So in this step is actually the gene involved is 2. So isolation of the target DNA and the isolation of the cloning vector. So isolation of target DNA, the target DNA is being isolated from a particular cell. Okay, for example, our gene of interest is the insulin. So insulin is produced by the beta cell of pancreas. So kita akan isolatekan DNA daripada beta cell. Tak boleh daripada sel-sel lain. Kita tak boleh ambil daripada epithelium cell. Kita tak boleh ambil daripada mast cell, because the cell will not carry the gene of interest. Okay, and then we're going to isolate the DNA vector. Example here, the DNA vector used is plasmid. So plasmid is a circular DNA that found in a bacteria. For example is E. coli. So we take it out. So that means the plasmid is being isolated from the bacteria cell. So again, isolation of gene means that the target DNA is being isolated from the particular cell. So here is the cell, then the nucleus, and then inside the nucleus have the DNA. So we bring it out. So here is the target DNA. Second, we isolate the plasmid from the bacteria cell. So we take it out. So here is the plasmid. Okay, remember plasmid also a DNA, but it in circular shape. Okay. So we use 2 tools here, which is the target DNA and also the plasmid. So next, cleave or cut. So the word cleave or cut mean we're going to cut. Siapa yang akan dipotong? We're going to cut both the target DNA and also the DNA vector. So we use restriction enzyme. So in this cut, we're going to cut the target DNA and plasmid using same restriction enzyme. Remember, this target DNA and this plasmid will be cut using same restriction enzyme. So in our previous video, I have said that you need to remember two examples of enzyme. Okay, EcoR1, which recognize the palindromic sequence of GAATTC, and the restriction site is between base G and A. And another example is MA1, which recognize the palindromic sequence of GGGCCC, and the restriction site is between base G and C. So look at here. This is our target DNA, and this is our plasmid. Can you identify the palindromic sequence, the familiar palindromic sequence? Okay, here we have the GAATTC, and for sure dekat bawah pun akan ada GAATTC. So this palindromic sequence is recognized by EcoR1, and then the restriction site is between base G and A. So here for the first strand, and for the second strand is here. Okay, so means this will give the sticky end. Okay, because the shape of the card is instagate. Okay, so here any GAATTC? Yes, you can see here GAATTC, and here GAATTC. So again, the EcoR1 will cut between base G and A, between base G and A. So here. So where is our gene of interest? So this Z shape is actually our gene of interest. Gene of interest. So all this entire DNA, this is the target DNA. So hopefully you can understand the target DNA will carry gene of interest. Okay, so gene of interest means this is our desirable gene. For example, our desirable gene is insulin. So this area only will code for the insulin. Tempat lain tak ada coding itu. Okay, next, this is our plasmid. As I have said, in cleavage process, the target DNA and the plasmid will be cut using same restriction enzyme. So since the target DNA is cut by EcoR1, so the plasmid also will cut by EcoR1. So find out the palindromic sequence GAATTC. So here GAATTC. So the EcoR1 will cut between base G and A. For second strand, GAATTC. So it will cut between base G and A. So what happened to this? Okay, so bila kita buka dia, selepas dia dipotong, dia akan membentuk AATT, CG, AG, C, T, TAA. Okay. So here TCT. Okay, so here is gene of interest. And how about the plasmid? So the plasmid, here is GCTTAA. Okay, here is GCG, CG, C, T, TAA. Okay. So the plasmid, this is called as open plasmid. After the plasmid cut by the restriction enzyme, and this is our gene of interest. So second step is clear. Now proceed to the third step, which is insertion. Insertion means masukkan. So obviously from the diagram, okay, this gene of interest instigate shape. Same goes to the plasmid. So in insertion step means that the gene of interest will be inserted into the plasmid. So kita akan masukkan gene of interest. So here AATTCG. If you can see, it will become complement. Dia akan jadi complementary. Why? Because kita cut using same restriction enzyme. So here is gene of interest. And then here is the cloning vector, which is the plasmid. And in this process, we use modifying enzyme. Okay, the example is DNA ligase. So DNA ligase will catalyze formation of phosphodiester bond between the nucleotide base of the gene of interest and the cloning vector. So this structure, after the insertion, the process will produce structure called recombinant DNA or called as recombinant plasmid. Okay, recombinant means this DNA has two different source of DNA. So maksudnya kita combine kan dua DNA daripada sumber yang berbeza. So that's why kita kata recombinant DNA. Okay. And for the fourth step is transformation and amplification. Transformation means, okay, so start from step 1 until step 3. Kita dah gunakan 4 tools. Which is kita dah gunakan target DNA, kita dah gunakan DNA cloning vector, kita dah gunakan restriction enzyme, kita dah guna modifying enzyme. So another one tools left is the host cell. So in our previous video, I already mentioned that the host cell is the organism that able to receive recombinant DNA. Okay, and this host cell usually or widely used is the bacteria such as E. coli. So in transformation, it means that this recombinant DNA is being transferred or introduced into the host cell. Recombinant DNA introduced into the host cell. That is meant by transformation. Next, what is mean by amplification? Amplify means banyakkan. So this host cell is bacteria. So bacteria will reproduce by binary fusion. So this host cell, it must reproduce to produce a clone of bacteria. Okay, so this host cell will reproduce. So itu maksudnya adalah amplification. And the last step is screening. So in screening step, we're going to obtain the desired clone bacteria cell that carry gene of interest. Maksudnya screening ni adalah satu prosedur untuk kita kenal pasti clone bakteria mana yang membawa gene of interest. Maksudnya takkan semua, okay, selepas berlakunya transformation and amplification, not all the bacteria will carry the gene of interest. So that's why you need to proceed with the step screening. Okay. So in screening step, okay, in your syllabus you should know about the blue-white screening. So the bacteria, okay, to allow it to reproduce, okay, so we're going to culture the bacteria in a medium which consists of ampicillin and also the egg skull. So this ampicillin is actually an antibiotic. So if you can remember, one of the characteristic of the plasmid or cloning vector, it must possess selectable marker. For example, is ampicillin resistant. So in this condition, the bacteria will not carry plasmid. Automatically, it will not survive in the medium. Okay, because it do not have the ampicillin resistant. So dia tak boleh hidup di dalam medium ni. Okay, so yang tertinggal hanyalah bakteria yang akan ada plasmid. Kenapa kita kata ada bakteria yang tak akan ada plasmid? Sebab you need to remember the host cell is the bacteria that the plasmid is being removed. Kita akan remove dia punya plasmid. So barulah dia boleh terima recombinant DNA ataupun recombinant plasmid. Okay, jadi pada yang tak ada plasmid, bakteria yang tak ada plasmid, maksudnya dia tak akan ada ampicillin resistant, so dia akan mati. It will not survive in the medium. So now the bacteria left is only bacteria that have plasmid. So how we're going to obtain which bacteria carry gene of interest? Okay, so that's why the method is called blue-white screening, because in the medium, okay, we'll have two types of clone: the blue colony and also the white colony of bacteria. So which colony will carry the gene of interest? So here is the explanation. If the bacteria have the plasmid, and then you can see here the plasmid has this is origin of replication. Here is the multiple cloning site. Okay, and actually this multiple cloning site, it consists of lacZ. Recall back in chapter 6, okay, the lactose operon. the DNA of bacteria will have 3 structural genes, which is LAC-Z, LAC-Y, and LAC-A. So LAC-Z is the gene that code for enzyme beta-galactosidase. So if in the multiple cloning site there is no gene of interest, means that the LAC-Z is not interrupted. So the LAC-Z able to code for beta-galactosidase. So when the beta-galactosidase is produced, the beta-galactosidase will hydrolyze the lactose. So the X-gal is actually will consist of lactose. So the consequence is the colony of bacteria will turn to the blue color. Okay, the colony of bacteria will become blue. So I repeat, if the bacteria do not carry gene of interest, means that the plasmid at the multiple cloning site there is no gene of interest, so the LAC-Z area means not interrupted by any foreign DNA. So when the LAC-Z is not interrupted, they're able to code for beta-galactosidase. So beta-galactosidase produced, and then it will hydrolyze the X-gal. Okay, it will hydrolyze the lactose in the X-gal, and then the colony of bacteria will turn in a blue color. So the conclusion is blue colony is referred to bacteria which not carry recombinant DNA. Okay, compared to white colony of bacteria, at the multiple cloning site at the LAC-Z area, there is a gene of interest present. Ada gene of interest. So kamu boleh nampak dekat sini, gene of interest interrupt the LAC-Z. So LAC-Z dia akan terputus. So bila LAC-Z is being interrupted, LAC-Z tak boleh menyebabkan terhasilnya beta-galactosidase. So beta-galactosidase will not produce. So when beta-galactosidase is not produced, the lactose in the X-gal is not being hydrolyzed. So the color of colony will become white. Okay, so if the bacteria carry gene of interest, the gene of interest will be inserted in the multiple cloning site, which consists of the LAC-Z, so that the beta-LAC-Z is interrupted, beta-galactosidase is not produced, the lactose in the X-gal is not hydrolyzed, the colony of bacteria is present in white color. So the conclusion is white colony is referred to bacteria that carry recombinant DNA. So settle all the 5 steps or methods in gene cloning. So last subtopic in this chapter is the application of recombinant DNA technology, and the most important is production of insulin using cDNA. What is meant by cDNA? C is complementary DNA. Okay, so cDNA, okay, I want to give you the basic idea. cDNA is the DNA produced using mRNA. Okay, so this kita panggil sebagai cDNA. Okay, before this, in chapter 6, you learn that the DNA is used as a template to produce mRNA. The process is transcription. But to produce cDNA, this is reverse process. We use mRNA to produce cDNA. Kita tak panggil untuk hasilkan DNA. Kita kata untuk hasilkan cDNA. So basic idea kamu nampak, cDNA is produced by using mRNA. So here, okay, how to produce insulin using cDNA. So first, mRNA, okay, actually the most correct is pre-mRNA. Code for insulin from beta cell of pancreas is being extract, atau kita panggil sebagai isolate. Isolated, kita bawa keluar pre-mRNA that code for insulin from beta cell of pancreas. And then this pre-mRNA, so let's say this is pre-mRNA. Okay, here is pre-mRNA. Then undergo RNA splicing. Remember what is RNA splicing? RNA splicing is process removing intron so that it will produce functional mRNA, which consists only exon. Dia hanya ada exon sahaja. So maksudnya dia akan ada informative region sahaja. Because all the intron semuanya telah dibuang. Okay. And then kita dah ada functional mRNA. So this functional mRNA code for insulin. Next thing is, okay, we're going to add enzyme called reverse transcriptase. So reverse transcriptase enzyme, dia macam peranan dia macam ala-ala RNA polymerase. Kalau RNA polymerase, dia akan add RNA nucleotide complementary to the DNA. But for reverse transcriptase, it will add DNA nucleotide complementary to mRNA. So apa dia buat? Dia akan buat DNA strand. So reverse transcriptase, it will synthesize single strand of DNA by using mRNA as a template. So here is our single strand DNA. Okay. Next, this mRNA will be degraded by mRNA degrading enzyme. Sebab kita dah tak perlukan template ini. mRNA hanya perlu digunakan untuk hasilkan single strand DNA. Selepas single strand DNA terhasil, this mRNA is being degraded by mRNA degrading enzyme. Okay. So now we just only have single strand DNA. To produce double strand DNA, DNA polymerase is used to synthesize the second strand DNA. So kita ada second strand DNA which is synthesized by DNA polymerase. So at the end we have the double strand cDNA. So finally, we have the double strand cDNA. Okay. So this double strand cDNA will code for insulin and it will just have the exon. So compared to the procedure, kita isolate DNA daripada beta cell. Lebih bagus kalau kita gunakan cDNA. Sebab apa? Semua yang ada pada cDNA ini adalah meaningful. Kalau kita bawa keluar directly DNA daripada beta cell, DNA kita akan ada intron, exon. So dia ada yang informative dan non-informative region. So dia akan menyebabkan tidak berapa efisien lah. Jadi berbanding cDNA semua region ini daripada cDNA ini only code for the insulin. Okay. So after we have our double strand cDNA, so means that this is our target DNA. Okay. So this cDNA is mean the target DNA. So recall back. In methods or in step of gene cloning. Okay, this is referred to isolation. So the isolation involve the target DNA and also isolation of plasmid. Okay, and then this target DNA and the plasmid will cut using same restriction enzyme. After that, followed by insertion step, which the gene of interest is inserted into the plasmid. Okay, catalyzed by DNA ligase to form structure called recombinant DNA or recombinant plasmid. Then followed by step transformation, which the recombinant DNA or recombinant plasmid is being introduced into the host cell, and then host cell is reproduced, that is referred to amplification. Okay, so now this is the step how the production of insulin using cDNA is produced. Okay, before that, after the DNA is amplified means DNA itu akan reproduce banyak. So maksudnya setiap bakteria sel yang reproduce, dia akan membawa coding of insulin. So so cara ini akan menyebabkan insulin dihasilkan dengan banyak. So kenapa kalau nak ikut banyak soalan yang tanya, kenapa kita gunakan insulin yang dibuat daripada cDNA? Okay, apa dia punya benefit ataupun apa dia punya significance kita gunakan insulin daripada cDNA ni? Ada banyak jawapan. This is the top 3. You can say that the insulin produced by using cDNA is not allergic. Okay, it can be produced in a large amount in a very short time and required low cost. Okay, other than production of insulin using cDNA, this is also the example of the product by using recombinant DNA technology. For example, in agriculture, production of transgenic plant. Okay, the aim is to has desirable improve characteristic. For example, the soybean. Okay, the transgenic plant maksudnya kita akan buat soybean itu pada dulunya, pada asalnya dia adalah pokok yang memang tak tahan racun. So dia kalau tumbuh bersama-sama dengan lalang, bila kita racun lalang dengan pokok soybean tu mati. So apa yang saintis buat, they alter the gene of the soybean, maksudnya dia masukkan gene daripada pokok yang memang tahan daripada racun. So at the end, apa yang kita dapat adalah pokok soybean is resistant to herbicide. So kalau kita racun pun, lalang je yang akan mati, soybean tu masih tegak berdiri. Then here is golden rice. So golden rice, apa yang saintis buat, they add on, they improve golden rice ni, yang di mana kalau kita makan nasi biasa, kita hanya akan dapat karbohidrat. So kita akan dapat macam adalah beberapa vitamin. So apa yang berlaku pada golden rice ni, they add kan bukan sahaja makan dapat karbohidrat, tapi dapat juga vitamin A. Sama juga dengan vitamins ni. Okay, pokok jagung ni apa yang menariknya, pokok jagung ni kalau kamu tahu, dia adalah pokok jagung ni disukai sangat oleh belalang. Jadi untuk kita racun belalang dan pastikan pokok jagung tu tak mati, so scientists alter the gene of this pokok jagung lah, so that pokok jagung yang dihasilkan adalah resistant to pests. So bila kamu sembuh pesticide, racun serangga, pokok tu tak akan affected lah. Okay, other than that, for transgenic animal, for example, scientists come out dengan transgenic salmon, di mana dia kacukkan salmon untuk dapatkan salmon yang memang isi sedap, tapi pembesarannya adalah sepanjang tahun. Okay, so this one you can refer to your bullet. And then production of alpha-1 antitrypsin in cow's milk, maksudnya dalam susu ni ditambahkan alpha-1 antitrypsin. Ini adalah untuk stimulate growth. Okay, so maksudnya kita akan dapat, instead of kita minum susu kita dapat kalsium, kita pun akan dapat juga alpha-1 antitrypsin yang akan stimulate growth. Okay, and then ada juga transgenic bacteria. For example, producing of transgenic anti-freezing bacteria. So macam strawberry, tomato, kalau nak ikut dulu, okay, dia mudah untuk freeze. So untuk overcome this, diorang alter the gene of bacteria. So bacteria ini membantu tomato and strawberries untuk kekal bagus, untuk kekal supaya tak membeku. Okay, so that's all for chapter 8. Hopefully you enjoy. Bye. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.